being chased by a f***ing serial killer.
Welcome back. Today I'm showing you 11 new horror movies released in 2025 that you can watch on Netflix. From slashers to psychological horror, there's definitely something in this list you're going to like. And if you end up finding a good pick here, consider subscribing. It's free and you can always change your mind. Until dawn 2025.
If we want to survive, we have to make it until dawn. What is that?
This is a new survival horror flick built around the 2015 game where if you die, the night resets. A group heads into a remote mountain valley to investigate a disappearance, but the trip collapses fast when they're hunted down and wiped out by a masked killer. Instead of staying dead, they wake up at the start of the same night, trapped in a time loop that gets darker every cycle. They also start realizing the loop doesn't go on forever. Every death brings them closer to a final reset they can't escape. But that's just the story part. Here's why people actually enjoy it. Director David Sandberg reused real audio from the game, the creature sounds, the screams, to connect with the fans who grew up playing it. And the studio behind it? Man, they threw everything at this movie. You've got ghosts, Wendigo-type creatures, supernatural hits, slasher kills, psychological breakdowns, body horror, splatter moments, even zombie-level chaos once the loop keeps spiraling. It's like they said, screw it, let's put every horror genre in one film. And in a weird, surprising way, it kind of works, like way better than it should. Hard Eyes 2025.
The masked maniac known as the Hard Eyes Killer has stalked,
Hunted,
and brutally slain couples on Valentine's Day.
This new slasher turns Valentine's Day into a hunt, where anyone who looks like a couple becomes a target. Olivia Holt plays Allie McCabe, a sharp, recently single ad executive trying to rebuild her life while working with Jay. But when a simple, harmless moment between them is mistaken for real romance by the Hard Eyes Killer, the night spirals into violence. Now Allie and Jay are on the run as the masked killer closes in, forcing them into a brutal fight where fear hits fast and every step matters. Hard Eyes is a slick, fast-moving slasher that mixes rom-com tension with full horror chaos and turns Valentine's Day into a night of pure survival. Ziam 2025. In near-future Bangkok, a climate disaster sparks a fast-moving infection that turns the city into a war zone. At the center of it is Singh, a former Muay Thai fighter just trying to stay alive. Until his girlfriend, a doctor, gets trapped inside a sealed hospital now crawling with the infected. To reach her, Singh has to fight through blackout corridors, broken checkpoints, and military squads hiding their own secrets. Every hallway becomes a choke point. Every decision is life or death, and the deeper he goes, the clearer it gets. The outbreak isn't random, and saving her might cost far more than he's ready for. Ziam is survival horror at full sprint, a brutal mix of martial arts combat and collapsing world tension, where loyalty becomes the one thing worth bleeding for. Frankenstein 2025. From the visionary director Guillermo del Toro, who has studied every frame of the original 1931 Frankenstein film and the novel to craft a definitive vision, we are thrown into the dark streets of 19th century Geneva. There, the brilliant and arrogant scientist Victor Frankenstein achieves the impossible, giving life to a man-like being assembled from dead parts. But the nameless creature, and I say nameless creature because it's a huge misconception that the monster is called Frankenstein. The creator is Frankenstein. The monster never had a name, is rejected by its horrified creator, cast out, and begins a brutal war between creator and creation that destroys everything Victor holds dear. What begins as an act of ambition spirals into a relentless pursuit across laboratories, forests, and snow-covered estates as both man and monster confront the cost of playing God. Frankenstein 2025 becomes a chilling, character-driven horror tragedy that explores obsession, rejection, and the deadly consequences of creation without responsibility. Troll 2 2025. This is Netflix's new giant monster sequel from Norway, a creature movie that pushes the Troll series closer to full horror territory. This time, a troll even bigger than the first one, nicknamed the Mega Troll, wakes up in the mountains, and every step it takes feels like something ancient, rising to wipe out everything in its path. But the humans aren't completely alone. A second troll appears, smaller, quicker, and unexpectedly protective, turning the conflict into a straight monster clash, one troll trying to shield humanity and another determined to crush it. Netflix went all in on this one, the biggest film production ever made in the Nordic countries, building toward a massive troll versus troll showdown that feels like folklore twisting into a nightmare. Baramulla 2025. In northern India, deep in Kashmir, in one of the oldest towns in the entire region, Baramulla, a police officer named Ridwan takes on a new assignment. Right after he arrives with his family, children in the area start disappearing. Locals report strange sightings near an abandoned house, and everyone is scared to talk. As Ridwan investigates, he runs into hostile locals, political pressure, and something hiding behind the missing kids case that nobody wants to admit. Every clue points to a threat that's been building for years, and now it's finally breaking out. Baramulla is a grounded horror thriller about a family trapped in the middle of a crisis where the real enemy might be human, or something far older. I Know What You Did Last Summer, 2025.
Please stop.
This is the fourth film in the slasher franchise, acting as a direct legacy sequel to the original 1997 movie. It follows a new group of friends in the same coastal town, hiding a deadly car accident from the year before. When a message appears saying, "I know what you did last summer," the cycle of violence kicks back in, and the hook-wielding killer steps back into the story. What makes this version stand out is how much more stylish and intense it feels. The new director leans into darker humor, heavier tension, and a cursed town vibe that blends 90s slasher nostalgia with a modern psychological edge. Brick 2025.
There's no way you can wall off an entire building overnight.
If the real terror for you is being trapped with your own mind, then this suffocating psychological thriller on Netflix is essential viewing. The story follows an estranged couple, Tim and Olivia, whose apartment building suddenly seals itself behind an impenetrable nanotech brick wall, cutting them off from the world with no signal, no help, and no escape. As time passes and resources fade, tension spikes through the building. Neighbors turn hostile, paranoia spreads floor to floor, and the pressure starts to break everyone trapped inside. Tim and Olivia aren't just fighting the confinement, they're fighting the psychological unraveling happening around them and inside themselves. Brick is a tight, claustrophobic psychological nightmare, a reminder that the deadliest monsters are often the ones trapped in the room with you. 28 years later. From director Danny Boyle and writer Alex Garland, 28 Years Later kicks off a brand new trilogy, and its sequel, 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple, is already shot and coming in 2026. This story takes place long after the original outbreak, with the British Isles still trapped under a harsh, indefinite quarantine. Life has collapsed into isolated, low-tech communities, trying to survive while the rage virus mutates into more dangerous forms. When a small group travels from a remote island back to the mainland, they discover how far the infection, and the society around it, has changed. 28 Years Later sets up the new trilogy with the original creators back, and a full sequel already lined up to push the story forward. The Elixir, 2025. A surprise Indonesian Netflix zombie horror flick centered on a family trying to save their failing herbal medicine business. The father, out of options, tests an unproven youth tonic on himself to keep the company alive. Instead of helping him, it triggers a fast-spreading infection that tears through the village within minutes. Now the family is stuck between survival, collapsing trust, and the consequences of a choice they never agreed to. The Elixir is an Indonesian-grounded zombie story about pressure, desperation, and one mistake that sets everything in motion. Fear Street, Prom Queen, 2025.
You'll never be prom queen.
This is Netflix's new slasher, a throwback to the brutal prom night horrors of the late 80s. The year is 1988. Prom season is coming up, and everyone in the school is obsessed with the prom queen race. But when an underdog named Lori Granger joins the race, things start to go sideways fast. One of the candidates is found dead, another goes missing, and people start whispering that someone is hunting the girls running for the crown. Netflix brought back Fear Street to make another brutal 80s-style slasher. Bigger kills, more tension, and a whole new story anyone can jump into. I hope you found a good movie to watch from this list. Thanks for watching.